Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back for another brand new video, and this video right here is the video I have been dying to make now since pretty much the final whistle went in the final game of last season. When all the celebrations was happening, Morelos were doing that wee dance with the flag wrapped round them, lifting league titles. I have just been dying to sit here and make this one because 55 has came home. Now it's time to set our sights on 56. That's right people, the road to 56 is officially upon us, and coinciding with that, I don't know if I've said that word properly, probably haven't, but going alongside that is our own 56 right here on the channels. We are trying to get to 56k, we're trying to meet them at the same time, so if you could help the channel out, that would be greatly appreciated and hopefully kick us on to a very successful, happy freaking season. But to the football we go then, and as tradition right here on the old channel, we will start with the preview off by having a look at the opposition and checking the challenges and what faces us by tomorrow's dance partners in Livingston. And it is interesting that it is Livingston for the very first game of the season, because once again Livingston Football Club, before a ball is kicked in the top flight of Scottish football, has people looking round at what's happened during the summer transfer window and saying, oh, they might struggle here because the players and important pieces that they've lost from the previous campaign. I mean, they lost the likes of Jet, who went up to Aberdeen. They lost Guthrie, who was brilliant as a centre-back for them. They lost Scott Robinson, who was such an important piece of their identity and scored big goals. They lost Effie Ambrose. I mean, maybe that was actually a pretty good thing that they lost Effie Ambrose. But you know what I'm saying, people? They lost a lot of players, and it's got a lot of people talking that they'll not be able to respond. But, and there is a but here, ladies and gentlemen, because to me, I think that is very lazy to go out there and say that, because it shouldn't be a surprise that they're losing big players every season. They've done that now since they've come up to the top flight. I mean, losing big players is what this team does. They've lost the likes of Liam Kelly, Craig Hockett, Lyndon Dykes, now Big Guthrie. Every year their best player goes, and every year they bring in people from the transfer window that has a lot of people turning their nose up and picking them to struggle, and then by the end of the season the same players that everyone turned their nose up to is then their best players, and they're leaving at the start of the next campaign. The cycle of Livingston Football Club is there to be seen, and I'll never underestimate them or overlook them again, because they just continue to go out there and make it very difficult for teams, especially now under David Martindale, who I've got a lot of respect for and I rate very highly, because the job Gary Holt was doing with Livingston was very impressive considering the budget and the players he was losing. But we knew what we were expecting every single time we played a Gary Holt side. It was part the bus, nobody going forward, no hope or prayer to even get by the halfway line for the majority of the games. But that's been pushed to a side under Martindale, because yes, he will still sit back and soak up pressure, but he actually offers things going forward, and he likes to hit teams on the counter. So for me, Livingston will be an interesting, tricky test for Rangers tomorrow, and they've showed that with every game that we've played them since they've came back up to the top flight. And to me, these types of tests and these types of teams are exactly what you want to be playing in the very first game of the season, because if you go back to last year, of course, we started our league campaign with a 1-0 win away at Pittodrie versus Aberdeen, which was again a very tough game, but that game gave us the platform to go ahead and build what we went ahead and build. And again, I'm not quite saying it's going to be the same, because I do think we're going to have a very good performance tomorrow with hopefully a very gorgeous scoreline, but still the type of team that we're playing, a team that's going to make you have to earn it, is exactly what you want from your very first game. Get the ball down. Not only do we have to break down their stubborn defence, but we need to be switched on defensively, and that's the perfect way to start off a league campaign, in my opinion. Now, there is one very important thing that I do think we need to mention regarding Livingston going in to this game, and that's the fact that they've actually played 4 competitive matches so far this season. That's right people, 4 competitive matches underneath their belt for their new players to settle. They're not going into this game absolutely on the cold, having to throw people in and get them used to it. Nah. They played 4 competitive matches in the Scottish League Cup, winning 3 of them, one of them being a dramatic penalty shootout, 6-5 over Championship side Raith Rovers. But they also lost in those opening 4 matches as well, where they were caught cold by a fellow Championship side in Alloa, where Livingston were cruising in the game, looking so good. They'd scored, they were cruising right into the 80th minute, and then Alloa stung them like that with 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes with less than 5 minutes to play, and Livingston were absolutely shell-shocked and they could not respond. So it's been a mixed start to the season for them especially, but again, for them the most important thing is their new players have played in a competitive environment, competitive games, and they're ready to go for this match versus Rangers. But aye, those words there, shell-shocked and rattled, is certainly words that I hope I'm going to be sitting here saying when I'm making my match review after the game, after we knock a couple early goals, and that would be very, very nice. But lastly, regarding the old Livingston preview, the last thing we need to discuss is how they set up and how they play, and it's not changed at all. If you watch last year's preview videos versus David Martindale's side, it's still the 4-3-3, which drops into a 5 at the back, where it gets very, very narrow apart from their 2 wingers. That's how they get up the park, that's how they go at it, and we've seen that as how they try to hurt Rangers as well, getting behind the advanced fullback. So I'm not expecting anything surprising or out of the ordinary. I think it is going to be a tough battle. I think they're going to be well drilled. I think they're going to be disciplined, and they will try and hit us onto the counter. But we're the champions, people. It's time to put down a marker. And with that being said, that is the oppositional preview now done and dusted. It is now time officially to speak about what matters most, and that is Rangers. That is the champions of Scotland, and I have waited a very, very long time to be able to sit here and say that going in to the very first match preview of the old season. And I think that's the best way to start when you look at Rangers, because this is what's all around the football club right now. It's how will Rangers respond to being champions? Will they be able to handle the pressure of being champions? I mean, they handled the pressure of being champions for October last year all the way to the end of the season without a blemish in the league campaign. So for me, all that is kind of bollocks. We were the hunted for the majority of last season, but I can understand the narrative about Rangers moving from hunter to hunted. But again, I didn't agree with it, ladies and gentlemen. We showed last season we can handle the pressure of being champions because we won it so damn early. And I loved everything that the gaffer said when he was asked those questions, and how he controlled those questions and how he controlled the narrative. The players are ready to go. No one's feeling anything. They want to be unleashed for another league campaign, and that right there just gets me going. And I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if it's just me, but the way I'm feeling going into this campaign is I've never felt like this for a long time when I look at a Rangers team, because I can genuinely plot 2 completely different starting 11s for this game tomorrow, and I'd be very, very confident about getting a good result and a good performance. And that's just a credit to everyone associated with the football club and what we've went ahead and built, because our team right now is stacked. And you know something, that kind of gives me the perfect transition into what I want to talk about next and for the Rangers side of today's video, because we always do a question of the preview, and I'm firing it out early, people, because I want to know who starts up front in your opinion tomorrow for Rangers, because this is a real conversation, this is a real battle right now, because we know officially Morelos is ruled out, and we'll go into more detail in the next couple minutes when we get to that part of today's video. But we have Cedric Itten, who has scored 3 goals in 4 games and has looked very good when he's a part of the main squad with the old friendlies. We have Fashion Sakala, who burst onto the scene and looked incredible versus Real Madrid, and honestly just made us smile every single time we saw that man smile in a Rangers shirt. We have our boy Kamal Roof, who again wasn't a part of the injury report, which we will speak about in the next minute, so he's available for this game, and we know that man's got the quality. He can score with either foot, he can score with his head, he can score with his nipples, he's done it all in a Rangers shirt, and he's a fantastic player as well. Or is it Mr. Jermaine frickin' Defoe? It's an interesting one for me, and I'm very interested to see where you are actually leaning towards in the comment section. So who, in your opinion, leads the line for Rangers going into the first game of the season on the road to 56? Let me know down in the comment section below. And whilst you're hopefully getting involved in the old question of the preview, I will move on to some important team news / updates, because as I just teased there, we were given an update on not only Morelos, but another man as well, because Steven Gerrard has officially confirmed that only 2 players will be missing the game tomorrow. The first one being Alfredo Morelos, who is quarantining right now because he's just back into the country. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was a wee bit disappointed when I heard the news, because I originally thought he had been quarantining and he was just about to come out of it. We obviously saw his picture on Instagram, but Steven Gerrard has confirmed he's still got another 5/6 days to go before his quarantine is over. So that rules out not only this game, but pretty much rules out the massive Champions League qualifier as well. So that's a wee bit of sareness and the old plump bags. The next player that is officially ruled out of the game tomorrow is a much more feel-good story because it's our boy Ryan Jack, and he is officially ruled out, but he's getting closer and closer, and that's just fantastic to be able to sit here and say, because this is a laddie now who's within 10 days of being fully fit and ready to go for Rangers. This is a laddie who's never had a bad game for Rangers, and he's been injured for 18 months, and he's had a niggle in his knee that he's not been able to get rid of pretty much since he's came in to the football club. So the fact that within 10 freaking days we're going to have a fully fit, ready to go Ryan Jack for the Rangers team, again strengthening our squad, is fantastic in my opinion. But you didn't need to take my opinion on it, because Steven Gerrard went ahead and said it perfectly. Having a fully fit Ryan Jack in the team is massive, and it's like a new signing. So I can't wait to see our boy Ryan Jack back in Dane Hings. And if the fact that Ryan Jack is almost ready to be unleashed and the old Rangers side Disney get the plums plumping enough for you, the next couple of talking points should, because Gerrard confirmed the rest of the squad is 99.9% fully fit and available for this game, which is just magic to hear, because magic is the word, because the guys like Ryan Kent, Kamaru, Joe Rebo, the guys who's been kind of in and out of pre-season so far, now have the thumbs up and are ready to go as well. So that's sensational. There was only 3 players that are currently in a questionable state right now, and that's simply because it's going to be a late decision made on, not because they're injured or anything like that, or they're struggling. No. It's just because they were at the Euro, so it's on Steven Gerrard to decide what they want to do, and that's of course Hollander, Barisic and Saucy Glenn Kamara. But I can imagine all 3 of them will play. The only one I could see maybe dropping out is Hollander, who obviously has only played 45 minutes since he's came back, and Balogun's there, Katic is there, so there is strength that we don't need to risk Hollander. But again, if they're all fully fit and ready to go, they're our best players in my opinion, so get them in there. Speaking of Hollander, that actually reminds me of something he fantastically said in his old pre-match interview and everything like that, when he was asked about the competition for places where players could feel annoyed and disappointed and bring bad vibes into the dressing room. He absolutely home run that right out the stadium, because he went, if you didn't like competition for places, go ahead and join inferior club. Oh my God almighty, I love him. What a team we have, and what a relationship the players actually have with each other, that it's not about I, it's about we, and that's what you want for your team, ladies and gentlemen. But aye, that's kind of it for the old team news. The last thing they actually do need to talk about, by the way, is of course fans. A lot of fans are getting put back into the stadium, and if you're one of the lucky ones that got a ticket, I'm delighted for you. Delighted. No, genuinely. Enjoy it. But in all seriousness, it is worth mentioning that if you are going to the game, make sure to be following the guidelines that's now in place by Rangers. I know they fired out on Twitter, you've probably seen it already, but I just try and give you as much information so you know everything you sort of can. If you are going to the game, they're the all guidelines that you need to follow if we can go ahead and build our way back up to full freaking capacity, because the quicker we smash these tick boxes out, the quicker we all get back in and make Ibrox rocking to the absolute hill and watch one of the best Rangers teams, in my opinion, in a very, very long time. So I enjoy the game if you're lucky enough to go, honestly. But even as a ballad. But moving away from the anger and disappointment, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the old preview. That's us had a look at the oppositional preview. That is us had a look at the latest Rangers team news. Again, there's not too much to break down from the Rangers perspective because we haven't went ahead and played our first competitive match yet. But again, we will be discussing all that in tomorrow. But before we do wrap up today's video, again, all that's left for me and thee today is the tradition right here on the channel. It is time for some predictions, so get your thoughts and opinions out there, and whilst you're hopefully getting yours down in the comment section, I will give you mine very, very briefly. I know they're going to be well disciplined. I know that's going to be a tough fight out there, and I know it is going to be the first game, which always has a little bit of ring rust. You're not 100% at it, but I just believe in the quality of the team. I absolutely love my team. I love the depth. I love everything about it. So I do think we will put a wee bit of a marker down, and I think it will be a wee bit more comfortable than it has been versus Livingston. But I'm going to go Rangers 3, Livingston 0. But with that being said, that's us officially done and dusted with the very first preview of the season. If you got involved in the comment section below, I will be speaking to you very, very shortly. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been CJ Over 9 and 2. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.